All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to Consultants on a Call, getting coffee or something else. It's something else for me today. Mike has been facing a lot of snow,
Yep.
and there was a big question about whether he was going to get his Starbucks today or not. Did it happen, Mike, or no?
It did not happen because I usually grab it on my way from picking my son up from dropping him off at school, and he doesn't have school today. It's a snow day for him. So we ended up only getting 12 inches of snow that was projected to be like 20 to 24. But yeah, no school the last 2 days. We also had two kids with strep during that time, so they would have missed school anyhow. But yeah, no chance to drop off at school. So I'm just going with water today out of my Vikings cup. So
Well, I also have some watered down pre-workout here like I usually do, and I'm sorry about your kids. I know that's rough, and then it starts passing. Sharing is caring, except when it's colds within a household. So sorry about that. Sorry about the snow. We've had a little bit less snow here in South Florida. We're in the deep swampy summer here in Florida. It's pushing 90 here, and I can't even go outside anymore. So we're kind of the two extremes. I'd really like some good 60-degree weather just to enjoy outside. Maybe we can combine our two our forces and meet in South Carolina or something like that.
yep.
But anywho, all right. So thanks everyone for joining us again in what is becoming a many-part series on setting your new hire up for success. And appreciate your patience here. But Mike and I and all the consultants here at Soprani Consulting. And by the way, we do hiring here. So we don't only do consulting, we do hiring. So we know how important getting off on the right foot is. You don't get off on the right foot and you don't set the right foundation, things are going to fall apart. And that's a big fat L for everyone. So we're moving a little bit slower with this and deliberately because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be covered that we see a lot of people not do at the best level possible. So
I think it
anywho,
speaks to the importance of it more than anything that, yeah, we're taking a long time getting through this because it really is that important to make sure you're doing a good job.
Well said. Yeah, yeah. When I say bear with us, please notice that we're not trying to waste people's time here. That's how big a deal this is. We're taking longer on this than we'll even take with, some other things that other people might prioritize much more. So please take it seriously. So we talked about setting the right expectations. We talked about the cash talk, the weekly meeting where it's kind of the temperature check to make sure that your assistant's not struggling in some way that you don't realize. Make sure that there's not some area where they need more help so that they can be better leverage for you. Making sure that you are allocating the time, you're making an upfront investment in this person. You're teaching them how to fish so they can fish for you. And if you're not going to teach them how to fish and they're just throwing stuff out there, it's rough to be mad at them, for not fishing at a high level for you. So forgive me. I like fishing. That probably won't be the last fishing reference that you get here from us. So anyway, so moving beyond the cash talk, Mike and I thought that we would get into, okay, that was almost the stuff leading up to day one, and the other stuff that would kind of start on day one. We're thinking about, well, okay, they're here. So what the heck are they going to do in the very beginning? A lot of people are even if they come with experience, they're still not, proficient in doing things the way you want them to do. There's a learning curve in the beginning. There's a lot of things that they need to be absorbing in the early going, so that they can run for you as quickly as possible. So we want to take a look at what that schedule might look like for the first few weeks. And then, as promised so long ago, we might get to the 30, 60, 90s today. If not today, it'll probably be next week. But anyway, so I'm going to pull up my screen here, and then I'm going to hand it off to my friend. We're here at Soprani Consulting. We give you, if you're a consulting client of ours, we give you what you're going to see here in just a second, which is an example roadmap of what someone might do or might have their assistant do in the first few weeks. Like Mike and I will, and Kayla and Jeff, and Lindsay would tell any of our clients, this is kind of a guide. This is not a prescription for any particular team, but this is something that we would recommend you review it. And you're thinking about, okay, was I planning on doing this with my assistant? Was I not planning? Do I need to, that's something that I was going to miss that I probably do need to insert into our schedule here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and hand it off to Mike. So anyway, here we go. This is for week 1, I believe. And then we have another document for weeks 2 and 3. But Mike, you let me know if I need to scroll at all, but go ahead.
Yeah, I to kind of fly up to 10,000 feet here first, just remember with somebody's schedule, you're responsible for training them and helping them get up and running. Just because they may have real estate experience doesn't mean they're just going to naturally know what to do. And everybody does things differently. So the way that you handle listings, transactions, marketing is going to be different than what they have done. So whether or not they're in real estate, you still want to give it to them slowly. Just kind of like if you were going to teach somebody how to swim, you're not just going to push them in the deep end and say, here you go, figure it out. And I think sometimes that's our approach to starting with somebody's like, oh, they have real estate experience, or hey, they've got admin experience in a different industry, they'll figure it out. And we just push them into the deep end and say, here you go on day 1. But what you want to do is you want to start with, hey, let's walk in the shallow end together and we'll spend some time there and the water's a little bit warmer. And then maybe we'll start to walk down the slope into the deep end. And so have that approach where you're not going to throw everything at them day 1, but you want to give it to them in manageable chunks. And then the other thing that I think is really important is the relationship piece. So not only are you hiring this person to do the tasks for you, to manage your responsibilities, this person's going to truly be your best leverage moving forward. And so with that, I compare it to a marriage or a very serious relationship, right? Like you have to have that strong base to stand on, because if I just throw a bunch of stuff at you and I don't show that I care, why is that person going to want to take the utmost care and do a good job for you back versus like, hey, I'm just dumping all this stuff on this person's plate? So I think that's the importance here of these schedules, these first few weeks, is think about not only how am I teaching them what they need to do on the job, but what am I doing to build the relationship with them? And so I recommend for sure day 1, maybe day 2, going out to lunch together, right? And having 2 hours cleared out of your schedule where you can sit, talk. It's not about eating food and leaving and going on to the next thing. It's about building that relationship. And so just like in a house, we want a good foundation. We've talked about these the last 2 weeks. You want to have a good foundation. So think about the touchy-feely stuff of how are we going to build a relationship with this person over the first couple weeks, in addition to I'm just going to throw all my tasks at them at 9 a.m. on Monday and say, here you go, I'll come back at the end of the day.
And if I can just jump in one thing, personality profile wise, which we've alluded to in the past, you've probably hired an S&C personality. These are people that are wired to be afraid of making mistakes. They know that they're in an environment. They know that even if I do have experience, this person probably does things differently. They're not going to be able to move confidently forward doing the things you're asking them to do until they know the way you want to do things, right? So taking care of that and making it clear and explaining things and maybe even doing things together a couple of times first so that they can feel like, okay, I can exhale. I know the process now and I can follow that for them. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so I think that's the key. That's where maybe we don't think as much about that, especially the first week, as we should, is, yeah,